Well, hello class, and happy Monday. For the next couple of days, you're going to be looking at leadership in teams. And the question comes up when you're talking about leading teams, what are the factors that make the implementation of teams so challenging for so many leaders? Okay, so what can be done to improve the situation? And what's important to realize in this chapter is that every team member is always looking for not just the benefit of the team, but what's the benefit to them for being involved in the team. And that's not a selfish way of looking at the situation. It's a very real way of looking at the situation. So this particular chapter is going to discuss how organizations and leaders can use participation, for example, figure 8-1 in your book, to point out the potential benefits being on a team can have. And that's what I want you to focus on in this particular chapter. What is the criteria for participation? Look at table 8-1 specifically that outlines the criteria for using participation, task complexity, employee commitment, organizational readiness, and task characteristics. They are going to be some of the relevant criteria that are going to help you understand when and how and why participation should be used to improve leadership effectiveness. So, here's the thing. What role does the leader play in getting his or her team motivated? What works for the team? Like, everybody has a different learning style, so everybody responds to different stimulus in different ways. So, how do we really cover the use of delegation? Do we give examples to show what we mean as team leaders? Are we autocratic? Do we demand things? Or do we have a softer approach where we facilitate ideas and brainstorm, kind of like what Jillian did when what she does in her work at Elite? Lauren says the same thing at Elite. They like to make their subordinates feel like they are a part of the decision-making process. These are some of the benefits that team members get out of belonging to the team. So if you look at table 8-2, it gives you some really good guidelines for delegation. And we ask ourselves, why do leaders sometimes fail to delegate? So there is an evolution of participative management between teams and leadership. There's a good Google case in your book too about leading change. And Google presents the case of Google, which aims to be, they say, the happiest place to work, but not just for employee satisfaction, but because the company has determined that keeping employees engaged and satisfied is essential to effectiveness and performance. The key thing is keeping them engaged. If you keep them engaged, you keep them motivating. You provide an environment that is fun and pleasant, and a highly engaging working environment is one that is going to be removing physical barriers for cooperation. people want to be on the team. So Google encourages its employees to work and play hard, do both. They have extensive monitoring and measuring. It's very serious about performance, but it's how that performance is being measured. It's not focused on punitive measures. It's more focused on contributory and facilitative measures. So look at some of the characteristics of teams. Look at how big teams should be to be truly effective. And look at the role of leaders in a team environment. Finally, look at Table 8-5, which it gets into managing dysfunctional teams. How do we manage a dysfunctional team? So Table 8-5 summarizes the 4 typical dysfunctions that teams face. Look into that as well. So that's kind of an overview of what you should study. And you have your reading, listening, and viewing section, which is very participative for you. And good luck. Remember, for this particular, after this particular chapter ends on the 8th, you're going to be getting into a participative discussion, which you will see at the bottom of the page on reading, listening, and viewing when you scroll down. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions.